Justin, how's it going down there? Lighting up the north end of this CRP. Looking good. Looks like we're dried out and burning hot.
Cracking daylight. Time to get to work. Good morning, guys. We're up there this week in southern Illinois with a long list of activities to get done in the off season. You know, there's never a quiet moment when it comes to preparing for next fall. And some of the things that we're doing right now is we're coming in and doing some restoration work on the areas where we did some logging. You can see right down below us, even from here, a landing where we were collecting all of the logs and exporting the trucks back last summer. Those areas had gotten hardened, and you know, from the burns that had happened and that sort of thing, there was just no grass coming back up. So to maintain the CRP and get a good batch of grass and everything coming back up, we decided to go in, till that up a little bit, overseed that, get not only some native grasses coming back up, but also get some good pollinators and things of that nature to help out with the turkeys and wildlife this spring. And then that way going into next summer, it'll be thriving again and be back in maintenance with the CRP. We also have decided that in the logged areas that we did up on the north side and down in the bottoms, that we needed to, since we've opened up those canopies, we need to come to and do some prescribed burning in there to allow that undergrowth to just really get a jump. We're then going to come back and do a little bit of spot spraying once that starts to generate on some invasive species. But the type of native grasses that'll come back after we burn the thatch and the leaves in there, it's going to be extraordinary. It's going to create some great bedding. It's going to certainly create more forage, more tonnage to hold more deer, more wildlife on the property. The turkeys are going to love it. So we're sitting here, you know, it's the first week of March. We're looking forward to April turkey season. So it's just a great time to burn, get ahead of the brood. You wouldn't want to wait till April and be burning once the turkeys have already nested and that sort of thing. So we're doing it early. This is certainly not a growing season prescribed fire. This is an early season fire just to get rid of a lot of those leaves, some of the old down thatch. We're not going to go in and clean up a lot of the treetops and all. We're going to leave a lot of that for bedding. So this is just going to be a pretty quick process that we're starting today. We're on about the second or third day in. It was a little too wet, so we're hoping that it's dried out enough that we'll be able to do it all. So we're hitting all the adequate safety measures, and I'm going to show you a few of the things that we're doing just to make sure that we're safe in the process. In the process of prescribed burning, one of the first things that we do is go out and hit some plow lines around the areas that we're going to burn, especially up against other forest lands or the other CRP fields. And if there's any residential, of course, outside of areas where we have roads, we'll make really good plow lines and fire protection lines in those areas. But the other thing we do, of course, is just water. We can come through there and monitor those lines very carefully, especially on a back burn. And we can just use our spot sprayers on ATVs to come through and just kind of knock it back and keep a good control on those edges, especially areas where we can't get in the fire lines, the burn lines, plow lines. So up on like the north side of the property where we can't get in there with the tractor, we're going to go through with our big backpack blowers, and we're going to clean out leaves and just make a natural barrier and watch those edges real close where we back burn. We've set up some of our drip torches very carefully with a high percentage of diesel, probably about 80% diesel, only a little bit of gas, mixed it in real well. And with that being the case, you know, you can see that we just get just a light drip right there onto the wick. We don't want it pouring out too much. We certainly don't want it leaking at all. We got good gaskets. You can see there's no leak around the bottom. And we're gonna wear all of our fire protection here. We're gonna get suited up in just a minute and get started. So we've got this rig all hooked up. Got some good flow on it. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a lifesaver right here. This will save some of those trees. Perfect. You're out there, you got your burn torch. On one side you're burning, on the other side you're trying to make sure you're not burning up any small saplings or letting it get away from you in the wrong direction across the burn line. And And these bad boys right here, they do good work. Well, I think we're good to go. We got us a good fire line, primary and secondary. Even the areas where we had to go through and use the backpack blowers to skirt some dirt areas, we were able to come back and do a secondary plow line. So I think that we are prepared. You know, one of the number one things to do, one of the most important things regarding safety when you're doing preventative burning, is to have a good plan. So we worked together early on, even back in the fall. We worked with SERPA in this area, which is the Southern Illinois Prescribed Burn Association. You got good experienced guys in any given geography, I'm sure, that have worked with the forestry. Maybe they're retired from those departments, or wildlife biologists. They can come in, help you put together a really good plan, not only to be effective, to think about what we're trying to accomplish when we set out to prescribe fire and burn, whether it's prevention of wildfires, whether it's specifically targeting wildlife species. But for us, since we're trying to do a little bit of all of that, we included consulting with the forestry department in this region, the Department of Natural Resources, NWTF, our local chapter of NWTF has been very helpful. The wildlife biologist Chase came in, did a survey for us in the fall, helped amend our CRP program, as well as the guys from Pheasants and Quail Forever. Preston, which is the regional biologist in this area, came in, also did a survey. Our timber consultant came in and did a survey. So we've had 3, 4, maybe even 5 different, area experts come in and take a look at this as we filed our burn plan with the forestry department. So we are all set up, fixing to get started. The one thing that's certain about a plan is that plans change. We were planning on starting Saturday. Due to the wind and the conditions, the moisture levels, we'd had a lot of rain, just wasn't quite right for burning. It was a little too windy, it was a little too wet, but things have dried out now. The sun's out, as you can see. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We're fixing to light it up. So one of the things we're doing here is a cross-section burn. So we were just talking about a back burn, and we've got that coming at us right here, 50, 75, 100 yards up. But that's our safety net. That's burning the fuel away from the fire line. What we're doing here, just to kind of speed up the process, and also just let kind of one fire burn into the next fire, is we're going to do a cross-section burn. So we'll light the edges. The wind will carry that. But with the wind circulating and moving a little bit, we're having a tough time getting it all to burn consistently like we'd like. So we'll come through and do good cross-section burns, especially in areas where we got good fuel, to get it started. One of the things that we're being careful of and making sure that we don't eradicate too much is some of these treetops. In the TSI and the select thin that we did last year, you can see some of the treetops and all that are down, and those make for really good bedding. So in a lot of cases, we're trying to lay those down and create bedding for the deer. But we want to be selective on where we create that bedding, right? So strategically on this farm, we've got certain areas that are within 80 to 200 yards of our stands where we want to try to create really good protective habitat for those deer to build a bed, and then, therefore stay close to the water source, stay close to the food. Some of these areas, we're just trying to create forage and create more tons per acre for the deer, and areas for turkeys and all to scratch and find grubs and do those things. So you can see these bottoms in here that are pretty open. We need those to regenerate. We're going to burn off a lot of these open bottoms where we select thin, but there's also a lot of areas you're going to see where we don't burn these treetops, and we allow these treetops, like you see here to our left, to actually just keep their forage and our foliage and just maintain cover. But in this area, like I say, we're gonna burn it off. You can see there's a big bluff right here, so we're burning everything on top of this bluff, You can see how well it's burning with the grass. It gets a lot more sunlight up here versus the areas down below the bluff are areas where those deer will tend to bed and will leave a lot of treetops. Man with steel boots, take a break. Go get us a...
Yeah. I'm getting cramps over here.
Hey, you've walked a bunch. You think about it. We've made what, probably 5 runs up and down this bottom. It's probably half a mile.
And then I walked
each.
all the way from the south side all the way to the north side of the property. That's the long side of the property.
And then we've been cutting sections too across.
Yeah.
So I think Keeler deserves a break. But boy, I'll tell you what, he's gonna get 5 stars in my book if he'll go get me a turkey bacon avocado wrap from Subway.
Get you some of that brown stuff on there.
That'd be good. Large sweet tea.
He'll get his second win after he eats.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, we really are just getting started good, but this afternoon, the wind's gonna pick up just a little bit. That fuel's gonna get dry.
Woo.
It's gonna be lit.
Keeler, oh my gosh.
Baja.
Baja, what's Baja? Baja.
This says Baja turkey. What does that say?
Baja turkey is the one I got.
This says Baja turkey too.
Okay.
Oh, baby.
We got a good burn line going here now, guys. The wind's gotten really consistent. We got a good consistent west wind. It's picked up a little bit in the afternoon. The thermals are lifting. Things are drying out. And as you can see here behind us, we just got a really good, slow, consistent back burn. We started it here on our safety line where we've got this nice plowed back burn line and fire line. And it probably hasn't gone 40 yards in the last 20 minutes. Just a good, slow burn. And you can see how well it's burning. We do still have a few standing briars. You know, it's not burning up too high, but that's good because that means it's not burning up and damaging our trees. It's very controllable, but you can see how well that it's burned in there. I mean, there's almost no leaves left in there unburned. So burning just right. Every once in a while, we'll get one little section where maybe there wasn't enough fuel and our line, we have a line break. We're fixing to hit a spot right here and just kind of get it touched up a little bit so we can get a good burn line going across this bottom. We've made really good progress. It's about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're really finishing up our burn on this primary bottom. But we got just a few more strips that we're gonna light up on this edge now that the wind shifted a little bit and we can kind of back burn from the opposite side here, from this west side. But we're gonna finish up tonight, burn some piles going into the evening, and then we're gonna probably burn just a few small sections that we have right here of CRP. You can see how much fuel this is, how quick this is gonna burn when we get into this. And so we're gonna wait for all of our help to get back over here and circulate so that just in case if it was to jump, we can get some water on it real quick. So far so good. We're gonna stick with it and get this bottom finished up hopefully before the sun goes down. Okay. Well, our gasket's still tight, that's for sure. We're running about a 10% mixture of gas, 80%, 90% diesel. We probably upped the gas on it just a little bit this last portion just to speed up our drip. And been letting it flow pretty good, but we don't want to let that vent open too much to where it'll drip. So I'm going to fill her up one more time, give it another shot, and see if we can get it burning. What we're doing is we're fixing to get a little back burn action going on this CRP right here. A lot of these blocks we're gonna put on a 2 or 3 year rotation, but this particular block of CRP, when you get into the back, has just got a lot of invasive species and briars and things of that nature. So we're gonna put a good season, early season burn on it. That way when everything starts to come back out, we can go through and just spot spray for invasive species and be able to see them a lot better.
Yeah, so you'll notice right now it's all laid down, and that's because there's a lot of the invasive grasses that we don't want. We want to kind of promote more of the forbs and things that provide browsing value rather than just bedding values.
That's
so
right.
We're gonna light this thing aflame.
You got a song worth singing and a fire to lead you home. Keep on running, keep on running. Keep on running, keep on running, running into the light.
Yesterday evening, as we finished up our burning, we came in and we pushed up some of these piles just before dark, made sure everything was safe and secure. Finished up burning some of these CRP fields that were very manageable. But this morning we're going to get up and we're going to come to a bluff that we have that's kind of to the southwest side of this property, nearest the highway. Now that we've got a little bit clearer weather, the wind's right, so the smoke won't be blowing towards the highway. Just behind our lodge here, it's not a huge bluff. It's probably 200 yards across and tall. So we're going to both start a fire line at the top of that, which will be blowing kind of with the wind and down the hill, which should still be a fairly slow burn, especially early this morning with it still having a little moisture on the ground. And then I'm also going to come along and set a back burn along the bottom side of that hill and see if that'll work its way against the wind. And also then I can patrol that lower edge to keep it from getting back into this CRP field that we don't want to burn today. So we're fixing to jump on it. We got all of our equipment ready. We've come in and refueled everything. All the equipment's ready to go. Actually cranked each piece of equipment up and checked it out. Refilled our burn torches, refilled our water, very important, and we're ready to go. We're gonna get after it. So guys, this is the aftermath of one of our burns. We had a really good consistent back burn right through this area. So this is a perfect example of what we're trying to do in these type of woods. This is a fairly mature stand of hardwoods. This section had not been select thinned. We're gonna come through and do a little more TSI going into the growing season here later in the summer. But you can see how well this burned. I mean, the dirt is right there. There's very little leaf thatch left, and that's really going to give a chance for all the small saplings and acorns and forbs and all the broadleaf forage to spring up and create some undergrowth in what otherwise would have been, you know, just a low producing area other than what we have coming in nuts and things of that nature. So the biggest thing that we see a immediate reaction on is the turkeys. In this same area and right up on the ridge here, we've got a spot across the road that we had not burned. We purposely did not disturb it for the turkeys. It's one of their main roost areas, and we didn't want to bump them off of that. When we came through this morning about 8 o'clock, checking our burn lines, doing a safety check, we saw a plethora of turkeys, and they were all headed for this bottom that had just been burned. For whatever all the reasons it may be, there's a lot of science in it, but the turkeys just love a fresh burn, and we already see scratching in 3 or 4 spots that we came by today where the turkeys are fixing to come in and just start hammering these areas. Guys, before, after. This is gonna be some pretty woods come April and May, guys. And turkey's gonna be strutting in here. No injuries. No burns that got out of hand into areas that they shouldn't, and most of all, we had a great time doing it, and we're looking forward to the next opportunity to get back in the woods. Talk to y'all soon. Follow us on YouTube or any of our socials to stay in touch. Thanks, guys.